Let me tell you something that you're probably not going to be shocked about, but it is very expensive to have a baby in the United States. I recently had a baby, and today I'm going to share all of the bills that I've received for having that baby in a hospital and what it actually cost overall, both the pre-health insurance amount and what I actually am paying out of pocket. I'll be honest, these numbers are incredibly shocking, and it's very frustrating to have a system like this because I had my baby in March and I just received what I am hoping is the final bill, but to be honest, I don't even know if it's the final bill. I have waited a couple months just to make sure I got everything in, and today I'm going to share the numbers with you so that you can see what the system looks like and why honestly the birth rate is gonna keep plummeting because it's expensive to have a baby just naturally. When I was pulling these numbers together, it was actually really interesting to see at the same time that there were a lot of articles and people talking about the low birth rate in the US right now, and honestly it makes sense. Why would anyone want to have a baby right now when the economy is crazy and it costs money just to have a baby? Even with a decent job and decent health insurance, which I have, I still have to pay several $1,000s just to get my baby into the world in a healthy and safe way. Then you add on the fact that I have to take unpaid maternity leave just to have a couple months with my baby. Having a baby does not generally feel like it is supported by the society at large, and it is on the individual, myself, to pay for all of the expenses and to figure out a way to financially afford this life-changing event. So of course, I can see why birth rates are not really high. Personally, I've always wanted to be a mom, and I do love my daughter so much. The older she's gotten, the more fun she's been. So I am super excited that we've had this new baby and have a new family member. But once I share these numbers, you're gonna understand why other people might not be having babies right now, because it's expensive. So let's look first at the hospital bill. This is the first bill I got and the first thing that I had to pay. The details you might want to know before I actually share the numbers. I did have a baby vaginally. I did not have any complications, and I spent exactly one night in the hospital, about 24 hours total, and then I was released. So my hospital bill for all of that was, before insurance, $11,215.42. That's just the hospital bill, and we haven't got to the rest yet, so stay tuned. The hospital bill broke down to the delivery section being $6,442. The room and board was $1,661. The lab work, all the tests and stuff, was $2,011. The anesthesia, the hospital's portion of the anesthesia, was $557. The pharmacy, which was honestly just a couple Tylenols, was $544.42. So all of that together was $11,215. I have insurance. I have insurance through Blue Cross Blue Shield through my day job, and that insurance paid $4,226.69. So they got to pay $4,000 for this. And then the insurance adjustments, because I went to an in-network hospital, was $4,894.29. So I paid $200 before I got there because they kept hounding me at the hospital to prepay my bill in full, so I just gave them $200. All of that added up, the insurance payment, their adjustments, and my $200 was $9,320.98. That left the balance of $1,894.44. So my bill due for the hospital for this birth was $1,894.44. So almost $2,000 just to have a baby with zero complications at the hospital. Then I got my doctor bill, which I will admit was a lot better than I was expecting, because my doctor is a beautiful, wonderful human, and she made this experience so much better. And she also filed all of the bills due for all of my care for the entire 9 months after my hospital bill, so I didn't have to pay as much. So the total amount for my doctor bill, I paid nothing during my pregnancy. I never did copays. I never paid my doctor anything. She just billed it all at the end. So the total amount for my care billed from my doctor was $4,336.69. Insurance covered the majority of that. Insurance paid $4,289. So I did get a bill from my doctor from her practice, and that amount was $122.69. So not bad for the doctor part, but Overall, still at $2,000 for having a baby, $2,217. That's still, a lot of money. That's not nothing. So still right at $2,000, just a little bit over $2,000 to have a baby with no complications. That feels like a lot. If I had not had insurance, would I have been charged so far $15,000? Probably. Luckily, you can negotiate with hospitals and doctors just like the insurance companies do. You may or may not be as successful, but you can negotiate upfront payments and cash payments and stuff like that to lower that bill. But as you can see, it's just really overall very expensive. So that's what I thought I had to pay. And then months later, exactly 8 weeks, 2 months later, I got my next bill, which was from the anesthesiologist. Not the hospital part, but the actual doctor. So they sent me a bill that was separate. Did I know I was gonna get this bill? No, I did not. Later, I just got a surprise bill from the doctor, and that bill was $5,071.50. So they charged another $5,000 on top of what I was already charged. So now our grand total is up to $20,000 for an uncomplicated hospital delivery. I can see why people don't have babies, and I can also see why babies are born at home in little birthing pools, because it's a lot cheaper if you just do it at home with a midwife. That's painful though. I appreciate my epidural. I mean, honestly, if I'm gonna have a baby, like, it might be worth $5,000 to have an epidural, just saying. So my anesthesiologist charged $5,000, and then insurance paid $4,672.58. That left a balance of $398.92. So that balance was just under $400, and that was the final bill that I've got. I literally just got it yesterday, so I have not actually paid it or looked into it, but I do have the money because we did save up for this. We were expecting between $2,000 to $3,000, so we did have the money. However, it is just a frustrating system to not know how much the total is going to be, and then not know until months later if you're going to get more surprise bills or not. So all of those added up, we have the $1,894.44 for the hospital bill due, $122.69 for my doctor bill, and then $398.92 for the actual anesthesiologist. So all of that together was $2,416.05. So $2,400 out of pocket after insurance for my birth at the hospital. That's a lot. So in grand total, my out-of-pocket cost, if I pay everything, is going to be $2,416.05. That is what I'm expected to pay after my insurance has covered everything and after all of the adjustments and all of that. That's a lot of money. So obviously I can see why people aren't just lining up to go through this process, where even if you have a very healthy experience and no problems, you're still going to be paying a couple $1,000s out of pocket. We're lucky to be able to afford this and to have saved up for this and have the money so that we can pay these bills. But it's honestly just a crazy system that doesn't really make sense to me. And I personally have a lot of feelings about how healthcare in the US works and how terrible it is, and how health insurance companies are not my favorite. Let's just say that. I just wanted to share these numbers, not to go on a rant about why the US health insurance system is such a scam, but to just share what you might be looking at if you are having a baby and what the bills might look like for you. So if you are pregnant now, these might be similar. It really depends on your insurance and what they cover and how it works. So with my insurance, I had 20% co-insurance on maternity services, so I'm gonna have a bill no matter what. I knew that going in. There was really no other option because my husband's company had the same exact situation. So really it was either this or try to pay it out of pocket and negotiate with the hospital and doctors. So ultimately we decided that it was better to have insurance in case something even worse happened, obviously. So these numbers will look radically different for you based on what type of insurance and what kind of policy you have for your maternity with your insurance. This is just an example, and there is no really standard of what it costs to have a baby these days in the US, because the prices are so variable based on where you live, in the hospital, and the insurance, and your doctor. but I do like to share the actual numbers of things, so maybe this was helpful for someone out there. So that's how much it costs for me to have a baby. I will not be having any more. This is our final baby, and I am super excited about that for many reasons, including the fact that I won't have to pay this ever again. I do hope one day in the US that we have a universal healthcare system. I've lived actually multiple times in other countries that have universal healthcare, and I think it is a much better system. It is not as terrifying to go through things like this where you have no idea what it's going to cost or what it's going to do to your life and to your finances overall. It is not something that we should force people to go through when they are scared that they will be bankrupt or just living on the edge because of medical issues. So I do hope one day that is the case in our country, and you can take that as political if you'd like, but honestly, it's not. Healthcare should be a right and not something that we have made into a business. I hope this was helpful for any parents out there, and if you have any questions about my particular situation, I'm happy to answer them in case it helps anyone out there. I know that looking at other situations where someone is paying for this type of thing is helpful if you're going to go through it. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Just let me know in the comments below, and I will try to make sure I answer all your questions. Thanks, guys.